Hi, I'm Therese Swenson. And actually, you may have remembered I did shows before. I was called About Town. I've been with Public Access for 10 years, and I used to be About Town. And then up in Southern Oregon at the university, we have a Rogue Valley Television public access station. And I was Tough Times. I still am up there. And now I'm These Times because I started calling it that when we were dealing with COVID. I don't want to jump to COVID, but the public access is something that anybody can be involved in. I want to invite you to go to the web, SiskiyouMediaCouncil.org. And if you go to our website, you'll see the different producers we have. And you'll also see that we have local meetings that are recorded that you can access. So if you scroll down, you'll see that there's a YouTube channel for all of the different producers. And you'll also see we have a weekly news show. So you might want to start watching because it tells you about what's going on. And different people record things around the county that they submit. So you might want to think about getting involved and being one of our reporters. I know we have some cameras, so if you live in a rural place and you'd like to capture something and submit it, we're looking to kind of touch all the bases around the county to keep you posted. So public access, I also do up in Oregon at Rogue Valley Television. And John, they have kind of a schedule of how the shows work. So what I wanted to tell you about that is that in Southern Oregon, they have many different times of the day when programs are watched, like well-being and lifestyles in the morning. There's something educational. In the afternoon, they have Soup TV, daytime shows, news and politics, arts and culture. They have some people that do language, English as a second language, John. Then there's news and politics. And then there's music. They have some music groups that record things and they put them on. So Rogue Valley Television, if you're kind of curious, you can check on the web and see the many different producers up there. But that brings me back to Siskiyou Media Council. Here at Siskiyou Media Council, we have a website and we have many different producers as well. So ours is SiskiyouMediaCouncil.org. I like to also remind everybody to get a paper. That's been one of my things forever. I tell people, used to be in the old days, you looked if you were looking for a job or a new car. But nowadays, I want to remind you there's so much in the paper about where you're living, what's local. Like the local sports are now starting to be in the headlines because the kids are getting ready in school. There's usually in some of the papers, they have like a health section. Weed Press is here. We have Dunsmuir News, Mount Shasta Herald. And it has articles like this, I thought was a good one, out in Scott Valley. This is Mountain Crest Gardens, and they do succulents. So if you ever want to drive through the valley and go and see this succulent garden, let me tell you the name again because you might want to go. This is the time of year we want water-wise plants. You might be planting your garden for next year to look lovely around your home. It's called Mountain Crest Gardens in Scott Valley. So the biggest problem with succulents is overwatering them. And that's the best part as we get into a drought. That's the reason I wanted to introduce you to that. The other thing about getting the paper is that you have an opportunity to voice your opinion, letters to the editor. I like to remind everybody if you feel like you have something that you want to share or educate people, or it's a good place to write a letter to the editor. Also, the community events section is in the Nickel. We have a local paper that you can pick up, but we also have community events in our local paper, so you can just scroll and see if there's something that you might want to do locally on the weekend. I often advise people to be a tourist in your own town. Gas is expensive and you don't really have to drive away because, of course, we live in such a wonderful place. There's so much to do in this county. I like to say be a tourist in your own town and pack a lunch and grab a friend or family or coworker and go sit outside and enjoy one of our, well, start at the fish hatchery. And we have a Chamber of Commerce which has lots of maps of all the places to go. But we really need to be a tourist in our own town. Now, one of the things I like to remind all of us when I start talking about my topics, I like to remind everybody we are living in a tech world. So one of the things I like to say, if you haven't done it lately, is take your phone and go to your pictures and delete, and then clear the delete file. And if you want to go to your emails, go to where it says junk on your email and edit and get all those thrown out in the trash, delete it, and then delete the trash, because you can open up some data on your phone. Also, if you go to your Google or Safari, whatever your search engine is, I don't exactly understand all this. It's a platform by which you do all your activity, but you might search things and it shows up in your history. So look at those little files and clear all those so you don't leave a bunch of open windows. I like to remind people that you're living in a tech world and you need to clean that and turn it off and let it rest at night. But the other thing that's important is a lot of us have gotten in the habit of just depending on our phone or our computer to have our phone numbers. You need to just right now go over and take the back of a calendar or something. Do people still have calendars? And write down some important phone numbers, because if for any reason that phone gets lost or damaged, there's some numbers in there you can't remember. Used to be in the old days, you knew somebody's number. In fact, way back, my grandmother's number had 2 letters. If there's old people out there, they'll remember this. It was like Garfield 35307 or something. But anyway, I think it's important to back up your computer. The reason I'm bringing this up is sometimes you all of a sudden get full and then it freezes or something. So think about, I don't know how much work you do on your phone, but now that we're going into the fall and people may still be working at home, or students are doing a lot of work and may accidentally push a wrong button, you might want to just take the opportunity to find they make these little hard drive boxes and you can store everything in there and start out clean and have room and be able to access things. So back up your computer or write down important phone numbers. I like to remind people of that because a lot of times people depend on a calendar in their phone. And then if anything gets happened or they lose it, where's that calendar I was going to show you? And I just think we need to go to old-fashioned calendars. I think when you have kids at home, all their school schedules and everything, if there's one calendar hanging on a wall, everybody can put their stuff instead of everybody having it in their phone, which they need to be reminded. But I think we should have a central place in the house. And I think everybody, as we get into school, I like to remind people that everybody needs their own supplies and rulers and pens, and maybe just needs a box. Like, oh, we can get into my helpful hints from Heloise. You might want to take an old Kleenex box and open the top, and everybody throws their own favorite markers, because somebody might use yellow for highlighting and somebody else might need a black felt marker, or if you just want to keep it all off the table. Now, the other idea about Kleenex boxes I've been thinking about is that every once in a while I run out of Kleenex. And what I've found is you run in the bathroom and you use a strip of toilet paper. I've found if you take the old roll off and you pop it in here, you now have Kleenex till you get to the store to get more. So some of these pretty boxes work well too if you get the smaller box. But that's a backup way if you don't have time to get Kleenex and you need Kleenex. I love to give you my helpful hints from Eloise. My other new favorite item right now that I discovered everybody's been shopping dollar stores because we're putting all our money in our gas tank. Anyway, this is a fun thing I just discovered. You can't see it. Oh no, because of the green screen. Okay, well, what this is a true lemon. That's so funny. It's a little tiny packet. No, you can't see that either. Okay, anyway, it's like a slice of lemon. That's so funny, John. I can't get that to show up. What a kick. Anyway, it's a little packet that's like a slice of lemon that's been freeze-dried. And so the reason I'm suggesting it, if you travel, oftentimes I don't like the taste of water where I go. Even though it's been filtered and certified to be clean and pure, After you live here in this county, you find out what good water is. So I just thought I'd tell you about this item, which you can't see, and it's a little box called True Lemon. It was kind of where you found coffee and things in the dollar store. But I take this with me, and if I don't like the taste of the water, you can often ask for a water, but if you're using bottled. But I make my own little container full of True Lemon in my water for traveling, and then it smells good. So some more hints from Heloise. So fruits and vegetables are stainful sometimes. Like right now we've been blackberry picking, and you might get it on your clothes. So I thought I'd tell you what I learned. Start with a denatured alcohol. So if you've got berry picking on you, using an eyedropper, you can flush it with white vinegar to remove the remaining color. Then you wash it. But I just thought I'd tell you, if you happen to be out in a nice white blouse and you get berry on you. Of course, red wine, you can use denatured alcohol with an eyedropper and flush with white vinegar. But once I was at a house and I spilled red wine, and they ran in and got a container of salt and poured that on it and left it for 2 hours and vacuumed it right up. So salt on a carpet if you spill red wine. What else? So the ultimate stain removal guide was for tomato sauce, ketchup, and barbecue sauce. You want to scrape off the excess and use a combination of solvent for grease. White vinegar after clean. So whatever you would use to clean grease, you would use for tomato and ketchup, and then use vinegar to rinse it. Felt tip ink, denatured alcohol. A lot of times if somebody's working with felt tip and they actually get it on their clothes, try using denatured alcohol and wash with detergent afterwards. Ballpoint ink. I don't know that anybody has glycerin in their house, but it says glycerin will remove ballpoint ink. Okay, that was just a few of my helpful hints. I don't think I have anything else on helpful hints from Heloise. But I wanted to tell you that I had something else I wanted to share today as we're getting into school and we're talking about school. Screen time. This is an old, I'm turning this the wrong way. Screen time after summer and kids are getting back into school. I don't know if it's in Europe somewhere. They're actually limiting children to Friday afternoon till Monday so that they're really not being on the computer to play games and surf the web other than school stuff during the week. So I don't think we're going to be that strict because everybody's so used to having it as also their social media for communicating with friends and things. But we do need to be able to have all of us think about how much time we're on a keyboard or using our thumbs and we're bent over. And all of us need to pull those shoulders back and sit up straight. And we need to remind kids all the time. And doors in the house, you can just find a door and stand up and before you leave, and then you'll remember that we're kind of starting to curl this generation. So I wanted to remind you, I went to have physical therapy on my shoulder recently. I was a mail carrier for 25 years. If I look familiar, I might have driven by. But I recently had a frozen shoulder where I couldn't reach to do my hair. And so she said, remember, everybody has a string right here. Pull it up. Well, of course, I like to encourage everybody to exercise. And I say, if you don't have weights like this little lady, she's been with me for years, you can use cans of soup. And we need to get up off of our computer at least every hour and stretch and put your head back and go outside. Of course, right now we shouldn't go outside because of the smoky weather, because we live in the ring of fire. There's a lot of fires still burning. I think they're under control and we're fairly safe at the moment, but we're not out of the woods with fire season. So be careful. Don't smoke outside. And I have a sign that says on the old road, no smoking for not very far. Keep your butt in the car because we have a lot of pine needles out on the road. So I like to encourage people there are cigarette smokers that are used to living in a big city and they sometimes flick out a cigarette. So please be conscious if you're a cigarette smoker. We need you to be careful. We're getting into another 8 weeks of seriously dry weather. We're not out of fire season yet. When I talk about the kitchen, I like to have a few kitchen ideas for you. And one of the things I read recently that I thought was a great idea was that we peel vegetables like maybe potatoes or carrots, or we peel things that we're going to cook. And we need to take all those clippings or the bottom of your celery or the bottom edge of your lettuce and put it into a pan. We can make our own vegetable broth. So I wanted to inspire you. You have all that compost, put it in a little pot with a couple cups of water and just make yourself maybe 4 cups of water so that you have broth. What was this for? You can use it when you're going to make, what was that, quinoa or rice, or you can use it as a vegetable broth when you're making gravy. So that was a good idea I just read that I wanted to share. And one of the things diabetes people need to be careful of, some people are pre-diabetic or diabetes. We have a generation of people that seem to be whatever we want to attribute it to, whether it was the processed foods that we've been eating for years, or many of us played on lawns when we were young and they've been using that Roundup. John, I can't remember the name. Is it glyphosate or whatever's in the Roundup? And in America, we have acceptable levels of glyphosate. I think John found an article once that said the acceptable levels of this Roundup product that it's made out of in Europe is minimal compared to what it is in America. So we've probably could relate some of our health problems, allergies, asthma to just being exposed to that for a lifetime. But when I was talking about diabetes, a lot of people know this, but you can help keep your sugar in check. Walking is really important, and they always advise all of us to walk the perimeter of the store. That's where the fresh foods, lean meat, and seafood. So you should also never shop hungry, but develop an exercise plan. People watch their numbers, but the one thing I want to remind you is water is not negotiable. Our bodies are 60% water, and by the time we're thirsty, we're usually low in the tank for water. So people with diabetes are even more prone to dehydration. So drink plenty of water. And when I read this, it said add lemon, strawberries, melon, or pineapples or something just to make be able to drink your water more, or add seltzer to it. A lot of people have these new soda machines. You can just put bubbles in your water. Yogurts have sterols, and this is similar to good cholesterol. So yogurt is something good to keep in your diet. You know, people disagree about coffee, and some people say coffee is good for you and good for your health. Thanks, John. And also they say it's helpful in reducing arrhythmia, heart disease, and stroke. But don't overdo it. There's many cautions, how many cups per day, but don't give up on your coffee. I'm all for coffee. Cumin, some for curry in a hurry. Time for some curry in a hurry. According to people, this spice has been found to have powerful effects on health. A study published in the Complementary Therapies in Clinical Practice found that overweight or obese women who consumed a half a teaspoon of this spice reduced their LDL cholesterol. Oh, I'm getting too technical. Oranges have a lot of vitamin C, so do strawberries, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, bell peppers. We just remember to eat more colors on our plate. Kiwis, eating 2 or 3 kiwis a day can help reduce blood triglycerides. Okay, so I was just trying to get some good ideas using your leftovers and putting healthy foods in front of us. It's so easy to grab something, tear it open, just like I had a little snack here waiting. But I also want to remind you, and I don't know if John has a picture of the city park. We have a food program, and in all the cities where you live, there's senior nutrition. And I want to remind you, if you're a senior, not to be too proud, because there's where we have our lunches. And we pick them up. We don't go in and eat because of COVID, but you just drive up, and if you're over 60, lunch is free. They'd love a donation, but they are funded to feed the seniors in the community. And the more people that go, the more money they get. And we have a wonderful cook. She actually used to work at the organic market, and she makes delicious salads and the best coleslaw. I'm always hoping for extra coleslaw. And anyway, our community center has meals 4 days a week in Mount Shasta, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, I understand in Weed, they have meals once a week. Mondays, and in Dunsmuir, I think it's Thursday. But what's important is if you know anybody that's homebound, you may know somebody that's homebound and they're not eating well. I know that I live alone and I tend to have a little tuna on a cracker, peanut butter on toast or something. And I think, okay, I'm getting my protein. But ever since I started going to these meals, I pick them up every day. Now, I may not eat it that minute. I may eat it for dinner or lunch the next day. But they're delicious things that they're making that's available to you to give you variety. Because you get in the habit of just buying the same old stuff or cooking the same old noodle dish. This is really nice. And each city has a resource center. I think Wairika might even be 5 days a week. So please call your local resource center and find out about senior nutrition for yourself, or if you know somebody homebound, they will deliver. I know somebody that has a broken hip, just came home from the hospital in Weed, and I got him signed up so that food is delivered every day at lunchtime. And he can heal better if he's getting a variety of foods. And they make sure we get a balanced meal. Okay, so Mount Shasta, Dunsmuir, Weed, Scott Valley also has a resource center, and the Dunsmuir has a resource center. So be sure and do that, because if we eat well, we can live well, we can work well, we can sleep well, and we can love well. So we all really need to know that it's the fuel that we put into us. I just want to remind everybody, every day's a new day. It's a new opportunity. I'm the worst because I like sugar. I was worried when I maybe had I did have a basal cell, and I called her and I said, quick, you got to fix it because I eat a lot of sugar. And I know that sugar feeds cancer. And she just rolled her eyes at me. Anyway, one more thing about cooking I saw that I wanted to share with you, I thought was wonderful. And it does show up. I'm so happy. You take a package of those like Hawaiian rolls and cut the whole thing, open it up, make sandwiches, and then cut through them. And it's easy to serve, like if you're going to an event and you want to bring a snack. I thought this was a great idea. So I wanted to share that for somebody, or maybe you have Cub Scouts or Girl Scouts or 4-H or FFA, some group that gets together. So now what I did yesterday, thanks, John, Jimmy Limo was playing at the car show in Mount Shasta. So I got a few pictures of cars that we were able to get a good color for to show you today. So Jimmy Limo also is one of our producers that has music. And I have a little tiny bit of music and a little sound bite, and I'd like to show you the cars. John, I don't know how you're going to run that, but could you put Jimmy, either his music or something we have? John's got it. So this car had won an award, and I thought I captured it, but I didn't write it down. But there were some wonderful cars at this car show. And a lot of the locals, you could see the whole street was full both ways. It's still kind of smoky out, but it was a wonderful day, and it was just quiet and soft and a lovely day to walk down and see all these old cars. And then Jimmy Limo had a booth in the middle. This was fun. This one had a name that I'm trying to read right now. It was so clever. Something about wine. The logo on it, I think it's a winery. And they came up just to enjoy our area. And then the beautiful colors, of course, and everybody had their engine open so you could see. I did take some pictures of the insides of the car, but they came out a little too dark to show you. And I thought I took more pictures, but my camera was signaling that it took a picture. This was neat because Pontiac used to have matchbooks, and they had a collection of like years of matchbooks that Pontiac put out. That was kind of cool. That was a 70 Pontiac. I actually have a 74 Maverick that's going to be too much to fix now because it weighs so much. So, okay, so John, I don't know if you were able to get, here, this was the long hair hot rod. There's a group that repairs cars, and they're called Long Hair Collision. So this is something I guess they're working on because it's in our town. We have 2 car repair shops. Now, Born to Rock, Ready to Roll. We got a little something I think we can put on for Jimmy. I'm thinking it's going to start now if we've got sound for him.
Well, when I was a baby,
You might hear it.
I'd be rocking in the cradle all night.
We tried to do something we don't usually do.
Our first show here. This is my virtual nightclub. trying to make lemonade out of the lemons that 2020 gave
So
us.
he has this studio in his house.
It's been a lot of
He's
fun.
recording things. So he's got kind of a makeshift studio.
Rocking in my
And
rocking
he
chair.
introduced himself there, and he sang a song, and I was going to try and share that with you. We're having a little technical, but he has Marilyn
first show here,
Monroe
this is,
asking him questions.
My
He's
virtual
done some fun
nightclub,
little
trying to
technical.
make lemonade out of the lemons that 2020 gave us with the COVID, and it's been a lot of fun.
And if you go find Jimmy Limo, you will see his shows are queued up, and he's lost a lot of weight. He's a great singer, and he's a one-man band. He makes all of his own kind of karaoke, and then he plays along with it. Now, he's been writing a lot of new songs, so I want to invite you to find him on the Siskiyou Media Council website. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about fire. We're in the ring of fire here, and I found this article that I wanted to bring up with you about don't fly a drone. Even though you may get an awesome shot of the fire, it's so important that you stay out of the sky, because the helicopters and the planes that are monitoring the fires, they all know where each other is, but they don't know where a drone is. And you could interfere with important life-saving drop of borate or whatever it is they spill. So please don't be creative with your drone over a fire. It's very important to remind you we're not out of fire season, and don't get involved. Okay, I'd like to give you a word for the day. And today I'd like to remind you to accept the things you're powerless about. I'm wrapping up the show now. I didn't have time to talk about everything. But every one of us has things that didn't go exactly the way we planned. As we look back in our life, we say, man, I would have done that different. I might have taken a different road. But you know what? You wouldn't find yourself here now. So when you find yourself where you are, find 3 reasons to be grateful. There's got to be something you're grateful for. A comfortable bed. The sun comes up every day and greets us. Well, right now ours has been pretty orange. But find 3 things to be grateful for, and then figure out what you can do today to make things different. Now, I know that sounds trite, and I'm not trying to say that we can't change things, but every day's a new day. So whatever you can do to just feel like you made it better, or try something new. With COVID, we've all been kind of stuck in our patterns. So think of something new you want to do. Maybe think about looking at the college schedule for fall. It's just starting. Maybe there's a class you want to take. It's not too late. You could miss the first class. So look at the College of the Siskiyous or the Southern Oregon University School. You might be able to do classes at home and get credits or no credit. Just take something interesting like geology to learn about where you live. Anyway, thanks for joining me. My show is called Tough Times in Rogue Valley. My show here is called These Times, and I'm on Monday nights at 7:30, Saturday at noon, and I'm always trying to find a hint from Heloise to share with you. Talk to you later. Therese Swenson, thank you.